So this is part 2 of the seminar. We'll start with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Nananjanashalakaya Chakshurum Militamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachanam Tangun Rangvayate Kiram Yakrapatanaham Vande Shri Gurum Deenakaranam Namavam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimati Radhanatha Swami Mutanami Namavam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Mutanami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Bhakshaya Deshtarini Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vas Adi Gaura Bhakta Jinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in the previous class, we stopped at a point where Ramanujacharya passed away, and all the disciples of Ramanujacharya fell at the feet of Ramanujacharya, considering him to be the next Acharya. So that was a crucial point where we stopped in our previous class. So now we'll do a quick review as requested by many of them previously, because these names and these stories are to remember. Many of you might be hearing it for the first time. So it's not important to remember the names, I know so much, but we can just hear the stories and see what realizations we can get from these wonderful stories. So, Srimati Ramanujaya Namaha, we'll begin the review of the previous class. So, in the previous class, we saw the entire Sri Sampradaya Guru Parampara. We saw how it began with Sriman Narayana, and the knowledge was given to Lakshmi Devi. From Lakshmi Devi, it was transferred to Vishwaksena, and from Vishwaksena, it came to Nam Alvar. So, we discussed a little bit about the Alvars, and we saw the story of Nam Alvar, how he was a little boy when he was born. He didn't speak or drink milk, and slowly, as he was left at the lotus feet of the Lord, he crawled down to a tamarind tree, and time passed by, and he became 16 years of age. He was an underdeveloped child inside the tamarind tree. So while he was 16 years old, there was a great saint by the name Madhurakavi Alvar, who was going to Ayodhya, and while he was in Ayodhya, he saw a strange white light following him. So following that light, he came back walking all the way down to South India. He came to Tirunelveli, to Alvar Tirunagiri, where this tamarind tree is there and the boy is sitting there. He goes and asks this boy a cryptic question, and the answer he got actually made him very satisfied. And after getting the correct answer from Nam Alvar teaches him a lot of things, from which from that day onwards, he becomes a scribe for Nam Alvar, and he writes down 1,100 verses. Then, over a period
Hare Krishna, Mataji, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Can you be a little loud? I don't know whether it's my phone problem or everybody is facing the same.
Oh, yeah. Haribol, is it better?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mataji, is better.
Sorry for that. Okay. So over a period of time, the teachings got lost, and in 900 AD, there was a saint by the name Nathamuni. He was on a trip to Vrindavan. He crossed the Yamuna. He had darshan of Krishna and Vrindavan, and he took his blessings. And he had a grandson by the name Damuna Muni. So after Nathamuni came back to his village, he heard some songs being sung in front of the deity, and those 10 verses of the songs that these people were singing ended with a word, just among the 1,000. So Nathamuni had a desire to find the rest of the 1,000, and he goes to different places, and finally he reaches this Alvar Tirunagiri, where this Nam Alvar is sitting. And Madhurakavi to tell him about the 1,000 verses, because he had heard only 10. So at that time, the descendants of Madhurakavi said, we have only these 10 out of the 1,000, but I have a set of 11 more verses which my ancestor Madhurakavi Alvar had sung in praise of Nam Alvar. So if you go and sing these verses 12,000 times in glorification of Nam Alvar will appear. So similarly, with Lord of Faith, Nathamuni went and he sang these praises in glorification of Nam Alvar. Nam Alvar was very, very happy, and he appeared in front of Nathamuni, And when Nathamani asked him to give the 1,000 verses, he said, not 1,000, I will give you 4,000. So these are the 4,000 Divya Prabandhams, or the works of the Alvars that had been passed down. So once these works of the Alvars were passed down, Nathamani taught these verses to his disciples with music and action. How to recite each verse musically, showing action. So this Nathamani had two disciples. To one person, he taught Yoga Rahasya. We discussed this in detail. And to the other disciple, he taught the process of Bhakti. Actually, this disciple who learned the process of Bhakti, his name was Pundarikaksha. Pundarikaksha specifically told his guru, I don't want a path that will give only me liberation. Teach me a path by which the whole world can be delivered. So Nathamani was very happy with Pundarikaksha, and he specifically gave him the process of Bhakti. Now this Pundarikaksha had a disciple by the name Ramanujacharya. Now this Ramanujacharya was given the task of going to the kingdom of Alavandar and bringing back the grandson Yamuna Muni to the right path, grandson of Nathamani. So then we saw the entire story of Yamuna Muni, how he went and he had a debate with a great scholar by the name Kolahala or Apiyalwan, and he spoke 3 sentences. We saw all this in detail in the previous class. And Yamuna Muni received half the kingdom of the Pandya dynasty, and he became famous as Alavandar. Now this Alavandar was very attached to the riches and his kingdom. So Ramanujacharya, he goes in the guise of a vegetable vendor, and he supplies a particular variety of greens to the cook of the king. So the king, Alavandar, he becomes very addicted to this particular variety of greens, and when the supply was stopped, Alavandar gets very angry and he summons Ramanujacharya, the provider, to come and see him. So when Ramanujacharya goes there, they have a big conversation, at the end of which Ramanujacharya says that you are really engrossed in the wealth of this kingdom, but actually there is a huge wealth that your ancestor has left behind and you have forgotten about it. So when Yamunacharya was very, very eager to know what that wealth was, Ramanujacharya teaches him the Bhagavad Gita for 18 days. So at the end of the 18th day, Yamunacharya has a change of heart. Ramanujacharya takes him to Sri Rangam to get him the darshan of Ranganath. After seeing the deity of Ranganath, Yamunacharya is totally transformed and he takes up sannyas ashram. Now Yamunacharya, before taking up sannyas ashram, I mentioned, had 4 children. But we did not discuss about these 4 children. The discussion will come later. Besides the 4 children that he also had many disciples. Many of these disciples became the future gurus of Sripad Ramanujacharya. So we saw the names of a few of them. Some of them were Mahapurna, Kanchipurna, Goshtipurna, Sri Shailapurna, Jnanapurna. Like that, there were many personalities who were great scholars. Now, we saw the story of Sripad Ramanujacharya, how he was born to Sri Shailapurna's sister and a great person by the name Keshava Somayaji, how he grew up and how he went to the school of Yadava Prakasha, the different challenges he faced in the school of Yadava Prakasha, how he always got into an argument with him, and then how Yadava Prakash tried to kill him, how he escaped, how he came back to Kanchipuram. So all these stories, and finally how he was dismissed from school. So we saw all these stories. During the time of his dismissal from school, at that time, Yamunacharya had heard a particular story from his guru about Madhura Kavi receiving a beautiful Vigraha from Nam Alvar. So this Vigraha was called as the Bhavishyat Acharya Vigraha. This Vigraha was received a long time back in the beginning of Kali Yuga, and this Vigraha was that of Ramanuja. So Yamunacharya had heard the story, and Ramanujacharya told Yamunacharya that this Acharya will appear during your time. You should find him and make sure that he continues the Sampradaya. So Yamunacharya is in search of Ramanuja. He sent some disciples of his to Kanchipuram. They find out about a unique boy by the name Ilaya Alvar, and who's none other than Ramanuja, and they go and report to Yamunacharya. Yamunacharya comes to Kanchipuram. He sees Ramanuja but doesn't speak to him, and he goes back. After he goes back, he sends his disciple known as Mahapurna to go and fetch Ramanuja and come. So when Mahapurna comes to Kanchipuram to take the Ramanujacharya to Sri Rangam, at that time, when they cross the Kaveri, they hear a news that Alavandar Yamunacharya has passed away. So when they go to see Alavandar there, they see that Alavandar's 3 fingers are clutched, or Yamunacharya's 3 fingers are clutched. When Mahapurna asks the reason of why his guru's fingers are clutched, the other disciples say that the Guru had 3 desires, but we don't know what those 3 desires were. So at that time, Ramanuja speaks out the 3 desires of Yamunacharya. He says the commentary for the Vedantas should be written, a bhashya for the Vedantas should be written. Second thing is 2 people in the Sampradaya, 2 very important people in the Sampradaya should be given the names of Parashara and Vedavyasa. The third desire is 1 person must be named after Nam Alvar, who is known as Parankusha, and also a commentary should be written in the future for the works of Nam Alvar. So these were the wishes that Yamunacharya had, and once Ramanujacharya spoke out these 3 sentences, the fingers of Yamunacharya opened up. So seeing this miracle, all the disciples around surrendered to Ramanujacharya, saying that he should become our future Acharya. So we stopped at this crucial point. So now we will continue. Again, sorry to say the class will be long. So if you feel you need to log out, please feel free to log out, because I really want to finish this in at least 3 sessions, but let's see how it goes. So if you feel it's getting too much, you can always log out, absolutely no problem. So now Ramanujacharya, after the passing away of Yamunacharya, he breaks down. He feels very, very bad that the Guru that he got is no more. So he goes back to Kanchipuram. So once he comes back to Kanchipuram, there he meets Kanchipurna. Now this Kanchipurna is also a disciple of Yamunacharya. He was serving in Kanchipuram. Okay, Ramanuja had his association previously also. Okay, but now the association intensified. He started serving Kanchipurna. Along with Kanchipurna, the 2 of them, Ramanuja and Kanchipurna, would serve the Varadaraj deity in Kanchipuram. Now, we'll see a little bit about who Kanchipurna was. This Kanchipurna was not a Brahmana first time. He was not from a Brahmin family. Rather, he was a Vaishya. Now again, in this entire Sampradaya, you will see that many of them were not Brahmins. Like Nammalvar himself was a Shudra. He belonged to the 4th Varna. He was neither a Kshatriya nor a Vaishya nor a Brahmin. He belonged to a Shudra class. So like that, some of the Alvars were not Brahmins. They all belonged to a lower class of society. Even in the Guru Parampara of Sri Vaishnavism, many of the Gurus did not belong to the Brahmin society. So similarly, Kanchipurna was actually a Vaishya. He belonged to a business family, okay? But he had a lot of devotion to the Lord. So he would walk every day from Pundamalli, which is actually a part of Chennai, to Kanchipuram to do chamara service for the Lord. That is, he would fan the Lord. Standing outside, he would fan the Lord. When the small deities would come out, that time he would stand in a mantap and he would fan the deity of Lord Varadaraja. So Kanchipurna had so much devotion that Varadaraja was very attached to Kanchipurna. So Varadaraja would talk to Kanchipurna every day. He was the only person who could talk to the deity. So he was so dear to the Lord that this Kanchipurna would talk to the deity of Varadaraj every day. In this Kanchi Mantap, it's called as the Kanchipurna Mantap, he would stand there, he would fan the Lord, and he would have conversations with the Lord. So Ramanujacharya knew how great Kanchipurna was. Ramanujacharya, after coming back and realizing that he didn't have a guru, Alavandar had also left, he went and approached Kanchipurna, and he asked Kanchipurna, saying that, I want to become your disciple, will you initiate me? Okay, because he hasn't been formally initiated, right? First he goes and asks Kanchipurna, that will you initiate me? So at that time, Kanchipurna said, I am a Vaishya. According to my Varnashrama, I will not initiate you. I don't want to give you mantra upadesh. I will not do it. Ramanuja said, no, birth doesn't have anything to do with a spiritual master. Why do you say like that? But then Kanchipurna said, no, I have taken a stand. I don't want to give you formal initiation, but I will always give you my association. So at that time, Ramanuja said, okay, that is okay. I respect your sentiment, whatever you feel. But I have 6 doubts, okay, in my mind. And this, only the Supreme Lord can answer these 6 questions that I have. So he knew very well that Kanchipurna could talk to Lord Varadaraj. So he asked Kanchipurna if he could ask Lord Varadaraja to clear the doubts that he had in the mind. But at this point, Ramanuja did not tell about the 6 doubts that he had. He didn't tell these doubts to Kanchipurna. He just told Kanchipurna, please ask the Lord if he can clear my give answers to my 6 questions. Okay. So at that time, the next day, Kanchipurna was doing the service of fanning the Lord, and he wanted to ask the Lord, can you clear Ramanuja's doubts? So the Lord was just conversing with Kanchipurna, and the Lord could understand that Kanchipurna was trying to ask him something. So the Lord said, it's okay, Kanchipurna, you can ask what you have in your mind. So then Kanchipurna said, this boy, he has 6 doubts. Can you please give answers to his 6 doubts? So at that time, the Supreme Lord, he began to speak. Okay, he spoke 6 sentences. Okay, what are the 6 sentences that Lord Varadaraja spoke? He said, first, Aham eva param tattvam. I am the supreme absolute truth, the cause of all that exists. Second, darshanam vedam evacha. The distinction between the jiva, the soul, and the Ishvara is actually self-evident. That means there is a difference between the jivatma and the Supreme Lord. Everything is not Brahman. Advaitavada is wrong. This is the second statement of Varadaraja. The third statement that he said is, Upayeshu prapatti syat. The only way to attain liberation from the circle of birth and death is by taking refuge at the feet of the Lord and surrendering to the Lord. Fourth statement, Antima smriti varjanam. That means for a person who completely surrendered to the Lord, there is no need for the devotee to remember me at the time of death. See, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that it is important for us to remember the Lord at the time of death, right? But the person who completely surrendered to me, I will remember him when he is about to die. This is the statement of Lord Varadaraj. Even if he doesn't remember me, because of certain situations, I will remember him. This is a promise given by Varadaraj. The fifth statement Varadaraja speaks is, Deha vasani moksham cha. As soon as the devotee dies, he attains the supreme abode. A person who surrenders, as soon as he dies, he will surely attain the supreme abode. Sixth statement is Purnacharya Samashraya. This is the final statement spoken by Lord Varadaraj. He says, tell Ramanuja to take refuge of the great soul Mahapurna, and Mahapurna will initiate him into mantras. So this is the 6 statements, famous 6 statements spoken by Lord Varadaraj. So the 6 statements I will repeat again. The first one is Ahameva Paratattvam, I am the Supreme Truth. Darshanam Vedamevacha, it is no more Advaitam. The idea that the Jiva and the Lord is separate is the correct understanding. Upayeshu Prapatti Syat, you should surrender to the Lord. Antima Smriti Varjanam, even if you don't remember me at the time of death, for a surrendered soul, I will remember him. Deha vasani moksham cha. After death, he will attain the supreme abode. It's not that as soon as he takes shelter of a guru and surrenders to the Lord, immediately he will die and will go to the spiritual world. Rather, after his entire life, after he dies, a surrendered soul will attain the spiritual abode. Purnacharya Samashraya. You now go and take shelter of Mahapurna. So these are the 6 famous statements spoken by Varadaraj. So immediately Kanchipurna went to Ramanuja and he told him that these are the 6 answers given by Varadaraj, and Ramanuja was extremely happy to get the 6 answers solved. Okay, 6 questions solved. Now next, so Kanchipurna and Ramanuja, they were having a very sweet relationship. Ramanuja would go and ask many doubts and Kanchipurna would solve his questions, and they were having a very nice Vaishnava relationship. Once, Ramanujacharya, he invited Kanchipurna to come and eat in his house, okay? Because Kanchipurna was such a great Vaishnava, Ramanujacharya felt that he must serve him. So he called Kanchipurna to come and eat in his house. At that time, Ramanuja was married. Remember in the previous class I was telling, Ramanuja got married to a girl by the name Rakshambal or Sanjambal. Her name is Rakshamba. Just remember that name. Now, Ramanuja, he told his wife that a great Vaishnava is going to come to our house, so please cook very opulently and make very nice prasad. So once he told that, his wife began to cook. Now, Ramanuja, he usually in those days, when you invite a guest, you're supposed to go to the house of the guest and accompany him and bring him to your house. After he finishes eating, you're supposed to accompany him and drop him back. This is the culture that was followed. So Ramanuja started walking towards Kanchipurna's house in one particular direction, and in another direction, Kanchipurna, when it was time for lunch, he started walking towards Ramanuja's house, because Kanchipurna was not the kind who was expecting all these formalities. So he just thought, oh, Ramanuja has invited me for lunch, I should go, and he started walking. But Ramanuja took a different path to go to the house of Kanchipurna, so they missed each other. Okay, meanwhile, Kanchipurna already reached the house of Ramanuja, and he went and stood in front of the house, and he told the wife of Ramanuja, it's me, Kanchipurna, I have come here. Your husband Ramanuja invited me for lunch, so I have come to honor the prasad. So immediately the wife saw him, and she understood that he was a Vaishya. She saw differences. So she understood that he was a Vaishya. She made him sit outside. She served a prasad on a banana leaf, and once Kanchipurna finished honoring the prasad, she took a long stick. She pushed away the leaf that he ate in without touching it, and then she cleared that place with cow dung, cleaned up that place, and then she went and took a shower, and then she came out. So all this has happened during the time Ramanuja is going to the house of Kanchipurna and coming back to his house, seeing that Kanchipurna had already left. So when Ramanuja entered, now Kanchipurna left. He didn't take any offense. He was very normal. He just ate. He took prasad. He said, thank you very much. The prasad was very nice, and he went away. Now when Ramanuja came back, he asked his wife, why are you taking a bath now? I thought you already showered in the morning. So at that time, Ramanuja's wife said, oh yeah, that devotee you said, he came, and because he was a Vaishya, I just made him sit outside, and I just took a stick and pushed off his leaf, and I took a shower. Ramanujacharya was totally shocked. He was like, what did you do? He's such a great Vaishnava. Where is the leaf in which he took prasad? I wanted to take the remnants. And Ramanuja's wife was, I just threw away that leaf. Why should I keep all that for you? And Ramanujacharya felt extremely bad, and he chastised his wife, and he told him that this is not how you treat a Vaishnava. He's such a great person. So like this, this was going on for a while. Ramanujacharya was getting very good association from Kanchipurna, but at the same time he felt very bad for the way his wife treated Kanchipurna. Now, a little bit about Kanchipurna. One more story which I wanted to say, which is very instructive. So this Kanchipurna, as I mentioned, he would walk from Pundamalli, which is in Chennai, to Kanchipuram every day. Now in Pundamalli, he had a garden where he would grow flowers. He would take these flowers and give it to Lord Varadaraj and then fan Lord Varadaraj. So he had two services to Lord Varadaraj. Now this Kanchipurna, while he would walk, on the way, there was a particular devotee, a Vaishnava, who would go and take the dust from the lotus feet of Kanchipurna and put it on his head very regularly. This was a regular practice for that devotee. Now that devotee, he was very humble by nature. He was in the mood of a servant of a servant. That devotee once asked Kanchipurna, I heard that you talk to Lord Varadaraj every day. Can you please ask Lord Varadaraj, then I will get liberation. So Kanchipurna said, surely I will ask. And he went and asked Lord Varadaraj, when will that devotee get liberation? So Varadaraj was very happy to hear this question, and he said, yes, this devotee will get immediate liberation after this birth. So Kanchipurna was very happy to hear this answer. He went and told this devotee that the Lord accepted you and you said you will be getting liberation immediately. So this person was very happy. But then he said, but Kanchipurna, didn't you ask for yourself when you will be liberated? So Kanchipurna thought, oh, this never struck me. So the next day when he goes to San Varadaraj, he very hesitantly he asked this question, in a very shy mood he asked, so when will I get liberation? So at that time, Varadaraj, he says the statement, Neer Vilasini nan pesinen. That means, you fanned me and I just spoke to you. That's all. The deal is over. I don't have any intentions of liberating you. So at that time, Kanchipurna was very shocked. He was like, oh, is it? I don't deserve liberation. Then Varadaraj explains to him, you have not done service to Vaishnavas. You have not been the servant of a Vaishnava. You have always served me. That is very nice. Serving the Lord is very nice. But to be qualified as a Vaishnava, you must be the servant of the devotees. Otherwise, actually, you don't have any Vaishnava qualities. So unless you develop Vaishnava qualities, how can you be capable of being liberated? Hence, unless you serve Vaishnavas and become the servant of a Vaishnava, I don't even consider you as important for liberation. Because you're doing the service to me, I'm just reciprocating with you by talking to you. That's all. That is all the relationship we have. So at that time, that really struck Kanchipurna so hard. Then he went in search of Goshti Purna, and he served him by being his cartman, that means driving his bullock cart. And later he was favored by Lord Varadaraja, and Varadaraja accepted him. So this is a nice story just to teach us how important it is for us to serve the Vaishnavas. In fact, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that we accept two teachings from the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. What are those two teachings? One is the service to the Vaishnavas and the mood of being the servant of a servant. That is the first teaching for the Sri Vaishnavas that we accept. The second is pure devotion, which is unmixed with jnana and karma. So these are the two things that we derive from the Ramanuja Sampradaya. These are the words of Mahaprabhu to Jiva Goswami. So, I just wanted to say that particular story. Next, now the Lord had instructed Ramanuja to take initiation from Mahapurna. Remember the words of Lord Varadaraj? He told that you should take initiation from Mahapurna. At the same time, there back in Sri Rangam, Mahapurna was instructed by the Lord there to go to Kanchipuram and meet Ramanuja and initiate him. Okay. So now Mahapurna started walking to Kanchipuram in search of Ramanuja. Mahapurna comes with his wife. Mahapurna and his wife are coming towards Kanchipuram to meet Ramanuja and initiate him. Similarly, Ramanuja hears that Mahapurna has already started to Kanchipuram, and out of respect, Ramanuja begins to walk towards Kanchipuram. So they meet at a point, you can't say halfway, but maybe somewhere in the middle. They meet at a place, and there Ramanuja and Mahapurna, they meet in a place called Madhurantaka, okay, which is actually slightly closer to Kanchipuram. So they meet there, and immediately Ramanuja requests for initiation. So Mahapurna is like, why are you in such a hurry? Let's first go to Kanchipuram, take darshan of Lord Varadaraj, then I'll initiate you. And Ramanuja said, no. Every time I go to a guru, something happens and I've not been able to get initiation at all these years. So somehow please initiate me, don't postpone the initiation. So he surrenders to Mahapurna there. And Mahapurna first initiates him by doing Samashraya. This is a process where they emboss the impression of Vishnu's Sudarshan disc on the right shoulder and Vishnu's Panchajanya conch on the left shoulder using heated silver seals. Okay, this is a practice that is still followed. That is the process of initiation in the Sri Sampradaya. So Ramanuja is initiated by embossing these seals on his shoulders, and then he teaches him a Vaishnava mantra known as Dvayam that has Narayana Sharanam Sharanam Prabhate. This is a part of the verse. So he teaches him that mantra, tells that mantra to Ramanuja, and Ramanujacharya is initiated. Now after taking the first part of his initiation from Mahapurna, but the other mantras are not yet given to Ramanuja. Ramanuja still has to hear the Narayana mantra, Namo Narayanaya mantra, and he has to also understand the meaning of Sarvadharman Paripyacha of the Bhagavad Gita. These two are also a part of the initiation, but this has not yet happened. Only first part one of initiation Mahapurna has given him. Now, Mahapurna and Ramanujacharya, they go back to Kanchipuram and they spend some time together where Mahapurna teaches him a part of the Divya Prabandham. He teaches him about 3,000 verses, okay? And he also learns from him the meaning of the Brahma Sutras. Now see, Ramanujacharya has to write a commentary, Sri Bhashya, on Brahma Sutras. This is a promise that he gives to Yamunacharya. So, in the process of training him to understand the meaning of Brahma Sutras, Mahapurna begins classes on Brahma Sutras. He also teaches him many of the Alvar's works. Okay, and also he has initiated him into one particular mantra and given him the mark of the Sudarshan Chakra and the Panchajanya. So this is done now with Mahapurna. So meanwhile, when Mahapurna was residing in Kanchipuram, Mahapurna would live in the front portion of the house, and in the back portion Ramanuja and his wife used to reside. Now Ramanuja's wife and Mahapurna's wife did not get along. Generally they say when two women are under one roof, there is always a problem. So two women are very difficult to get along when they are closely associating. So both these ladies didn't get along well, and once a very big fight broke near the well. That is, they would go to this well to fetch water, and there it became a very big fight between the two wives. So after this fight was over, Mahapurna's wife, she felt very bad, and she went and reported the whole thing to her husband. Now Mahapurna got angry with his wife. He said, why did you behave like this? You have created an offense to Ramanuja and his wife. I have come here to teach Ramanuja something, and because of this I am not able to I'm not able to complete my task because you both are fighting like this. So he says it is high time that we leave this place. If we continue to stay here, it will be more and more Vaishnava aparad. So Mahapurna and his wife, they leave Kanchipuram without telling Ramanuja. Now when Ramanuja comes back home and he searches for Mahapurna, Mahapurna is missing. So he goes and asks his wife, Ramanuja's wife, Rakshamba, what happened? Where is my guru and his wife? Rakshamba says, nothing. Actually, we had a fight. So she just got offended and she went away. Now, this again struck Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya felt very bad. He told her, this is not how you behave. You have already misbehaved with Kanchipurna. Now, this guru also, you are sending him away. See, so I thought I got a guru from whom I can learn everything. And now he also left. So he feels very bad that even Mahapurna left him and went. Okay. Then what happened was, a few days later, some Sri Vaishnavas, they had come from the birthplace of Rakshamba. They had just come to visit the deity of Varadaraj, and they came to Rakshamba's house, Ramanuja's house, begging for some food because they were hungry. At that time, Rakshamba said there is no food in the house, and she sent them away. But when Ramanuja went to the kitchen, he saw some food remaining. So when he saw the activities of his wife, he felt extremely upset, and he started scolding her again, saying, not scolding, he felt very bad. He felt very miserable actually. He said, how could you refuse Vaishnava's food? That is like the basic thing when you had so much food at home. Now, actually, Rakshamba refused them food because these people were from her place, and she had a feeling within her heart that if these people, they see the kind of simple living that Ramanuja is having, he's just having probably very simple prasad, very, very basic prasad. If they go and report it to her mother, it will become a big issue. That Rakshamba is not being, she's not very well to do. Such information, if it reaches her parents' house, her parents will feel bad. So this was the reason Rakshamba actually refused the food. Now these Vaishnavas will just go and report that your daughter, she didn't give prasad or something like that. Prasad was over in her house. This is the report that they will give. So keeping this in mind, Rakshamba actually refused the food, but she didn't give the correct answer to Ramanuja. So Ramanuja was very dissatisfied with her behavior. So then, over a period of time, Rakshamba, she went to visit her parents. At that time, Ramanuja was really, he just wanted to take sannyas. He was in a point where his mind was fixed up on taking sannyas. So that's the time when Ramanuja decided, no more of this, I'm going to take sannyas. So, as after she had left, Ramanuja, he walked to the temple of Lord Varadaraj, and when he reached the temple, he bowed before the deity and he prayed to the deity and told, my dear Lord, hereafter I am yours in every way. I've given up all attachments. Please accept me. Then he went and obtained a saffron-colored cloth of a sannyasi, a staff, that it was a tridanda, that is a Vaishnava tridanda he had got, and then he kept this at the lotus feet of Lord Varadaraj. And he told the Lord, I don't find any Vaishnava sannyasi around. The only sannyasi I know, Ramanujacharya, is no more. So I request you to be my guru and initiate me. He keeps everything at the lotus feet of Varadaraja. He goes outside. He lights a fire. Like you do a fire sacrifice before you. They do a small fire ceremony. So he goes and lights a fire. At that time, Kanchipurna comes running and he tells, we got the order of Lord Varadaraj. Lord Varadaraj told me that hereafter you will be a sannyasi, and he's named you as Yatiraja Ramanuja. Yati means a sannyasi. So Varadaraj gives Ramanuja the name. Varadaraj becomes the sannyas guru of Ramanujacharya, and the message is conveyed through Kanchipurna. Kanchipurna goes and says, Varadaraj has given you the name Yatiraja Ramanuja. That means you're the king of all yatis. Yati means sannyasi. So he's named as Yatiraja, and he accepts these saffron robes, and he wears these saffron robes, and he takes up the ashram of a sannyasi. So this is a beautiful verse that describes Ramanuja. It says, Upavitinam urdra pundravantam Trijagat punyapalam tridandahastam Sharanagata sartavahamire Shikaya shekarinam tatim yatinam. All glories to Yatiraja, who shines with a yagna upavitam on his chest, that is the sacred thread, and with the urdra pundram, that means urdra pundram means the tilak, who looks, he holds the tridanda in his hand, and he's the he has a tuft on his head, and he's the savior of the devotees. The devotees who are surrendered to him with faith, all of them are granted liberation. So this is a verse in glorification of Yatiraja, how he looks now. So he's holding a tridanda, he's having a tuft of hair. All Vaishnavas have a tuft of hair at their back. Only the Mayavadis have it clean shaven. Vaishnava should have a tuft of hair. He wears saffron robes and he has his sacred thread. So this is now Ramanujacharya, who is Yatiraja. So now Ramanuja has taken sannyas. Now we'll see some of the associates who joined Sripad Ramanujacharya at this point. So these are all very interesting stories of different associates. So the very first disciple or most important disciple you can say of Ramanujacharya was Kuresha. By birth his name was Srivatsanka. That was the name of Kuresha. Now Kuresha was born in Kuram. It's a small village near Kanchipuram. Some nice stories are described about his childhood. So when he was a little boy, he was very interested if someone spoke some philosophy. So once upon a time, before Sri Vaishnavism was properly organized, before Ramanuja it was kind of haphazard, it was not very well organized. So at that time, this Kuresh, he saw some Jains giving some lecture on their philosophy. So he went and he was standing there listening to what these Jains were talking. And then he went back home and he told his father, you know what, I heard some Jain sannyasis giving lectures. It was very interesting. Kuresha's father got very angry. He said, first go take a bath. What are you talking? You were listening to Jains. That philosophy is not even Vedic. Please don't say this again. So like this, Kuresha's father was brought him up very nicely, and he grew up to be a very nice Vaishnava. Like there is a story mentioned that once a frog was being swallowed by a snake. So when Kuresh was saying this, he started crying because the frog was just croaking. It didn't shout out, "Oh Supreme Lord, come and save me," like Gajendra. So he got reminded of the Gajendra pastime, and he was thinking, how unfortunate is this frog, he's not able to shout out like Gajendra. Like that, there are many stories of his childhood just to show, exemplify the great Vaishnava qualities that Kuresha had since he was a small boy. And also he was brought up very well by his father. In fact, once after Kuresha's mother died, his father was asked to remarry. But his father said, I will not remarry because I will make a Vaishnava aparat. My son is a Vaishnava. And if the new wife comes and doesn't treat my son properly, it will become a Vaishnava aparat, so I will not remarry. So that was the kind of family background that Kuresh had, and that was the kind of upbringing that he had. Now, Kuresh's father was extremely rich, okay, very, very rich. They were like, the richest people around, Kuresh and his father. But they had very good qualities. So Kuresh's father used to feed 1,000 Sri Vaishnavas every day. That was the daily routine. And similarly, Kuresha also took up that activity of feeding Vaishnavas each and every day along with his wife by the name Andal. Kuresh's wife's name was Andal. They were a very nice Vaishnava couple, and they would serve the Vaishnavas every day by feeding all of them. So one day like this, after they served the Vaishnavas, Kuresh closed his door. Okay. Now this door was like a huge heavy door in front of his house. that was gold plated, and it had big bells. Each bell made huge sound. So imagine a big door studded with several bells. He just closed that door. When he closed the door after doing Annadan, the sound would reverberate in the air, and this sound would reach Kanchipuram, where the deity of Varadaraj and his consort Pirandevi were there. Now, Varadaraj and goddess Lakshmi, both of them, once they were speaking, Kanchipurna was hearing this. But they were saying, goddess Lakshmi was saying, who's that? I can hear someone's door being closed. Was it a very rich person who has come to the town? So Lord Varadaraj is talking to his wife. He's saying, yeah, there is a great person by the name Kuresha, and he does all these charitable activities. So like that, they were just having a conversation, and Kanchipurna heard this, and he goes and he tells Kuresha that, you know what, the Supreme Lord was speaking about you, and Varadaraj and his consort, they were discussing about you. So Kuresha was very curious to know what were they discussing. So at that time, Kanchipurna said they were discussing about how great you are, how rich you are, and how much welfare activities you are doing. Kuresha felt very bad. Oh, they're talking about my welfare activities? They're talking about my richness? Then I should give up all this. This is not. These are not the qualities that a Vaishnava should be known for. A Vaishnava should not be known for his richness, or he should not be known for charitable activities. So I think I have to make a change in myself. And then he and his wife, they go and surrender unto Ramanuja later. So this is a story to show the greatness of Kuresha. Now this went on for a while. So then Ramanuja, he was just thinking of the different people in his life. That time, suddenly one day, he got reminded of his cousin. Remember when we were talking about the story of how this, what's his name, Yadava Prakasha, tried to kill Ramanuja. That time Ramanuja's cousin Govinda actually saved him. So there is a story about Govinda. Ramanuja came back, right? He came back to Kanchipuram after he heard about the plot of his killing. But Govinda stayed back with this Yadava Prakasha. So after they went to Kashi, Govinda traveled back with Yadava Prakasha's party. Now Govinda, when he was traveling back, they stopped at a particular place where he was taking a dip in a river, Kalahasti. That's where they stopped. This is near Tirupati. Kalahasti is very close to Tirupati. So Govinda was taking a dip in that river. When he took a dip in that river and when he got up, a linga, Shiva linga, came into his hand. Again and again that linga would come into his hand. So at that time Yadava Prakasha said, oh, again and again this linga is coming to your hand. So hereafter you should be doing Shiva Puja and you will be a Shaivite. And he gave Govinda a name, Ullam Kolanda Nayanar. That means one in whose hand the linga came and blessed him. So that is the name now Govinda has. And Govinda is doing Shiva Aradhana or Shiva Puja, and he's become a Shaivite. Okay, this is the story that Govinda had. Ramanuja was aware of this. So he was thinking in his mind, oh, Govinda, he was such a nice boy, such a nice Vaishnava, but now his path has been deviated. So I should take some steps to bring him back to the right path. Okay, so this is the meditation of Ramanuja. Now Ramanuja's disciples are coming one by one. Okay, now Kuresha we saw. Next we are going to see what happened to Govinda. Now to get Govinda to the right path, Ramanuja was thinking who would be the right person to go and preach to him. So immediately he got remembered of his uncle Sri Shailapurna. Now Sri Shailapurna is the uncle of both Ramanuja and Govinda. Remember, Sri Shailapurna had two sisters, Sri Devi, Bhudevi. Bhudevi's son is Ramanuja, Sri Devi's son is Govinda, right? So now for both of them the uncle is Sri Shailapurna. So he called God for Sri Shailapurna and he requested him if he could go and somehow change the mind of Govinda and bring him back to the right path. Okay. So Sri Shailapurna took 3 attempts. First 2 attempts he failed miserably. What were those 2 attempts? I'll tell it in just a few words. I don't want to elaborate too much on the story, but I'll just tell you quickly. First time when Sri Shalapurna went to see Govinda, Govinda was doing the puja of Lord Shiva. So at that time, Sri Shalapurna began to speak to him, and he told him, is Shiva puja going to give you liberation? You're going to take this birth and cycle of birth and death again. Shiva doesn't give liberation, so why are you wasting your time doing this? That is one kind of argument that Sri Shalapurna had, and Govinda just ignored him, and Sri Shalapurna returned back. Now the second time when he went, he said, what he did is he wrote on a palm leaf that Narayana is the supreme absolute truth. Some verses from the Vedas he just wrote, and he left those palm leaves in the path where Govinda was walking. Govinda picked up those palm leaves and he just dropped it, and he went ahead with his work. And that verse kept coming to his mind, so he went and picked up that palm leaf again, and he was having a conversation with some Sri Vaishnavas who were accompanying Sri Shalapurna. So he was asking some questions and they were getting some answers. Somehow his mind was slowly changing, but his mind didn't change completely. Then the third time when Sri Shalapurna came, he sang a particular verse from Ramanujacharya's Stotra Ratna. The verse says, is Chandan and flowers of Tulasi befitting the worship of any other deity other than the Supreme Lord Narayana or Vishnu? So when Govinda heard this, somehow it just struck his heart, and he dropped everything and he said, no, it is not befitting anyone else. It is only for Narayana. He left everything and he went and surrendered unto the lotus feet of his uncle Sri Shalapurna. So like this, after 3 attempts, Govinda was changed and he became a Vaishnava again. Okay. So now so Govinda, later he comes and joins Ramanujacharya. Now he's with his uncle. His lifestyle has changed. Everything has changed. He's under the training of his uncle. He's yet to join Ramanuja. He will join Ramanuja later. Okay. Now Ramanuja had 2 nephews, because Ramanuja had 2 sisters. Okay. Ramanuja was born with 2 sisters. Now these 2 sisters, each one of them had a son, and both these nephews later became the disciples of Ramanuja. Especially one sister's son by the name Dasarathi Mudaliyandan, he's also called Mudaliyandan, he joined Ramanuja early. Okay. Now just keep this in mind and we will go to the next story. Next, Yadava Prakasha. Remember, Yadava Prakasha was the former teacher of Ramanuja who tried to kill him. Now what happened to this Yadava Prakasha? This is one of the most interesting stories in the history of Ramanuja. So Yadava Prakasha, over a period of time, seeing his activities, many people started disliking him. He became very infamous over a period of time in Kanchipuram. So the students he had started decreasing, and Ramanuja's students started increasing. Ramanuja has now become a big sannyasi, and many students started coming and joining him. So Yadava Prakasha, slowly he started aging, and he also started realizing the different mistakes that he had done. Then Yadava Prakasha's mother, who was very, very old, she came and advised him. She told him, don't you think at least now you should go and surrender to Ramanuja after all this has happened? Then Yadava Prakasha was thinking in his mind, yeah, maybe what she's saying is true. And that night when Yadava Prakasha slept, he had a dream where Lord Varadaraja appeared, and he told him, enough of this Mayavad path that you have taken. Now you go and surrender unto Ramanuja and take up a Tridanda sannyas. And the Lord said, actually you have to atone for it because you have been a Mayavadi all these days. The only method of atoning is to circumambulate the entire world once. So at this point, Yadava Prakasha was very old. He was asking the Lord, how am I to circumambulate the entire world? I'm so old. So at that time, Lord Varadaraja says, it is okay. Just go and circumambulate Ramanuja and surrender at his lotus feet and he will accept you. So Yadava Prakasha goes to his student, Ramanuja, whom he tried to kill. Okay. So Yadava Prakasha goes to Ramanuja and he surrenders unto Ramanuja, and Ramanuja very happily accepts him and gives him initiation, and he's named Govinda Dasa. This Yadava Prakasha gets a new name with a Dasa known as Govinda Dasa. So being inspired so much by Ramanuja, the way he lived the life of a sannyasi, this Yadava Prakasha, who's now turned Govinda Dasa, wrote a book by the name Yati Dharma Samuchaya, that is describing the life of a sannyasi, the rules and regulations for the life of a sannyasi. And the role model for writing this book was Ramanuja. Okay. So, and also over a period of time, now I just Yadava Prakasha, though he had now taken the Kridanda, and he had changed and everything about him had changed, he was also aging, so eventually he died. But the best part is, before dying, he surrendered unto Ramanuja. Now, Ramanuja has not yet gone to Srirangam. Srirangam is the headquarters for the Sampradaya. So what next happens is, Lord Ranganath in Srirangam was thinking it is high time that the Sampradaya Acharya comes here and establishes his headquarters. So Lord Ranganath, it seems this is what is mentioned. Lord Ranganath asked Lord Varadaraj if Lord Varadaraj could send his Ramanuja to Srirangam. Lord Varadaraj said, no, he's my treasure. He belongs only to Kanchipuram. I won't send him with you to you in Srirangam. So then Lord Ranganath said, okay, you're saying no, but I will devise a plan and somehow bring Ramanuja to Srirangam. So Lord Ranganatha in Srirangam, he called for a person by the name Thiruvaranga Perumal Arayar. Okay, just we'll call him Arayar for now, so that we can remember this name. He called for a person by the name Arayar. Now this Arayar is actually the son of Yamunacharya. Remember I told Yamunacharya had 4 sons? So the son of Yamunacharya by the name Arayar was called by Lord Ranganath. Ranganath summoned him and he told him, go to Kanchipuram and do as I tell you. So Ranganath, our Arayar, the son of Yamunacharya, he heard the instructions from Ranganath. Ranganath told him some secrets and sent. Now he comes all the way walking to Kanchipuram. So he enters the Varadaraj temple, and there Kanchipurna is fanning the Lord. He is doing the service of fanning the Lord. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, standing next to Kanchipurna and singing beautiful verses in glorification of Varadaraj. These verses were composed by Kanchipurna. He had learned these verses from Kanchipurna and he was glorifying the Lord. So this is the scene in Varadaraj temple. So now Arayar enters, okay, the son of Yamunacharya, one of the sons of Yamunacharya. Yamunacharya had 4. So one of the sons enters. And he was also trained very well by Yamunacharya. He was also a disciple of Yamunacharya. Not only was he the son of Yamunacharya, he was also the disciple of Yamunacharya. So he entered inside. And once he entered inside, he went to Lord Varadaraj and he started enacting and reciting some verses of the works of the Alvars that were glorifying Lord Varadaraj. Okay? So imagine Arayar has come inside and now he started his recital with actions and he's glorifying Lord Varadaraj. So Varadaraj was very happy and he was shaking his head and he was listening to these beautiful songs, the verses of the Alvars being enacted in front of him. At the end of this performance, Varadaraj asks Arayar, so you have done such beautiful songs and you have enacted it so beautifully, I want to give you a prize. So at that time, Arayar asks Lord Varadaraj, as a gift, I want this boy Ramanuja, or rather this now sannyasi Ramanuja. So Varadaraj is very shocked. He says, no, I won't give Ramanuja to you. But then Arayar says, see, you are Lord Varadaraj. You are known for giving boons, right? Devaraja Varadaraja is known for giving boons. And now how can you go back on your word? I want only one boon from you. I want Ramanuja with me. And this is the order of Lord Ranganath. So then Varadaraj says, okay, I give him to you. So after this, Ramanuja goes with Arayar to Srirangam and he reaches Srirangam. So now he has left Kanchipuram, and Kanchipurna, who is there, he goes and tells Lord Varadaraj, see, we had only one treasure. We just had one Ramanuja. Even that Ramanuja has left. Now it's just you and me here in Kanchipuram. So like this, Ramanuja reaches Srirangam. Now, after reaching Srirangam, again, Ramanuja takes many of his disciples along with him. And even in Srirangam, many disciples come and surrender unto Ramanuja. Now there, Ramanuja wrote Vedanta Saram. That is one of the works of Ramanuja. This was around, I think he was around 33 years of old, approximately. He wrote this work based on the teachings that he got from Mahapurna. Remember, When he was with Mahapurna and Kanchipuram, Mahapurna taught him about the Vedanta. So based on what he had learned from his guru, he wrote Vedanta Saram. That is one of the works of Ramanujacharya. Next, Ramanujacharya had to learn the Namo Narayanaya mantra, right? That is a very important mantra diksha that they receive, Sri Vaishnavas receive. So Mahapurna told Ramanuja that this mantra you should learn only from Goshti Purna. So now Ramanuja has to go to a place called Tirukoshtiyur, where Goshti Purna is staying. So Ramanuja walks from Srirangam to Goshtiyur. Okay, he walks to this place, and there in the outskirts of this place, he asks some people there, where is the house of Goshti Purna? They show him the house, and the minute he knows that this is the place where my guru is staying, my future guru is staying, he begins to offer Dandavat Pranams. Offering Dandavat, he goes all the way, like how, in Govardhan Parikrama, they do Dandavat Parikrama, right? Like that, doing Dandavat from the outskirts of the village to the house of Goshti Purna. He goes to the house of Goshti Purna, Ramanuja. He goes and he asks Goshti Purna, please teach me the Namo Narayanaya mantra. So Goshti Purna says, why have you come here? I don't know all that. I don't want to teach anyone. Even if I teach you, you're not going to understand. Please go back. So Ramanuja feels very bad, and he comes back to Srirangam. And he's staying there, and he's thinking in his mind he's going to go and approach Goshti Purna again. Now meanwhile, Goshti Purna pays a visit to Srirangam to take darshan of Ranganath. That time the Ranganath deity comes in his dream and tells him that you should initiate this person Ramanuja, he will come in search of you. You have already rejected him once, but when he comes back, you should initiate him. Then Goshti Purna says, why should I initiate him? A disciple must be tested at least for 1 year, and he must be doing service to the Acharya, and then only the Acharya gives initiation. This is a rule set by you. Why would I go against the rule set by Shastra and you? This is the question he asks Ranganath again. Then Ranganath says, no. This actually, you don't have to really go through all this testing procedures. Don't worry about so much rules. Just initiate him because he's a very qualified disciple. So Goshti Purna says, how can I do that? This is something you have told me and I have been following, and you're asking me to go back on the word. He says that, and then they have a conversation. Ranganath and Goshti Purna are having a conversation, and Goshti Purna says, okay, I will eventually initiate him. He doesn't accept to initiate Ramanuja immediately. Goshti Purna goes back. Then again Ramanuja takes a trip to Koshtiyur, where he goes in search of the Goshti Purna to get the mantra. So he goes there. Again, when he goes this time also, Ramanuja is sent back by Goshti Purna, and he's tested 18 times. 18 times Ramanuja walks to Goshtiyur to get this mantra, and he's being sent back. Ramanuja was tested 18 times. Goshti Purna refused him to test his faith and determination. Now, the 18 walks of Ramanuja, what it meant, why Goshti Purna refused him 18 times, is actually listed even to this day in the entrance of the temple. Okay, the different reasons why Goshti Purna sends him back. The first reason is, he says, once you are sure that you have given up attachment to samsara, that is the process of samsara, birth and death, you come back. This is the first time he's rejected. Once you feel that you have completely given attachment to this process of birth and death, come back. So Yatiraja Ramanuja, he goes back, he thinks about it, and when he's sure, yes, I have given up all attachments, he goes for his next trip. Second trip, Goshti Purna says, once you have relinquished the thoughts of I and mind, then you come back. So again, Ramanuja goes back to Srirangam, he thinks for a while, have I really relinquished the thoughts of I and mind? I am great, all this have I given up. Then when he's confident that he's given up everything, he walks back to Goshtipuram to get initiation. Like this 18 times, so many different reasons actually Goshti Purna gives, and Ramanuja goes back. The 10th time when he makes the trip, actually interestingly, after 10 walks, Ramanuja is being told by Goshti Purna, come back after you are sure that you're a Vaishnava. Imagine, this person has taken up sannyas ashram, and he's got disciples, and still Goshti Purna tells him, make sure that you're a real Vaishnava and then come back. So you can imagine, just to become a Vaishnava, you should give up so many things to really become a Vaishnava. So like that, these tests go on. And after the 17th walk, Ramanuja goes back to Srirangam. At that time, some Vaishnavas, they were visiting Ramanuja from Goshtiyur. Okay, when Ramanuja sees these Vaishnavas visiting him, he just opens up his heart and he says, you know what, I've been trying to get initiation from Goshti Purna. Goshti Purna is so strict. He's made me work 17 times. I really don't know when I'm going to get initiated. I have so much desire and so much determination and faith that someday I will be accepted at his lotus feet. So like this, he opens up his heart and he tells these Vaishnavas, can you please tell what I feel to the great person in the great scholar Goshti Purna in your city. Go and tell him about how I'm feeling and please recommend my name, he says. Recommend my name for initiation. So after the 17th time, these Vaishnavas, they go and tell Goshti Purna what happened in Srirangam. They say, we met Ramanuja and Ramanuja speaks your lotus feet and he has sent us for recommendation. We are coming with recommendation. Please initiate Ramanuja. Then the 18th time, Ramanuja is accepted by Goshti Purna. Why? Because you cannot go to a guru without the help of a Vaishnava. Unless a Vaishnava has approved of you and recommends you to a guru, we do not directly go and hit the lotus feet of a guru. So this is the process that Goshti Purna was trying to drive to Ramanuja, and he got it the 18th time. Okay, this is explained why he had to walk 18 times. Now, 18th time, Ramanuja goes there. Tirukoshtiyor Namni, that is, our Goshti Purna is very happy. He says, okay, I will give you the mantra, come. Then he says, come with your Tridanda and Pavitram. So Tridanda is the staff that sannyasis carry, right? So he says, come with your Tridanda and Pavitra. What is Pavitram? Pavitram is the ring that they wear with kusha grass. If you see some Brahmanas doing some rituals, for purification sake, first they will wear a ring that is made with kusha grass. So that for the purification process, it is important. So he says, come with these two items in your hand. Now Ramanuja, he brings with him two people. One is Kuresha and the other one is his nephew Dasarathi. I said he had a nephew by the name Dasarathi. So he brings these two people along with him. Then Goshti Purna says, I asked only you to come. Why have you brought two people with you? So Ramanuja says, you were the one who asked me to bring my Tridanda and my Pavitram. I've brought both with me. Goshti Purna is kind of, he's like, what are you talking? I told you to come alone. Why have you brought two people? I just told Tridandam and Pavitram. Why have you come with two people? Then Ramanuja says, these are my Tridandam and my Pavitram. Goshti Purna asks, so who is your Tridanda? Who is your Pavitra? So he says, my Tridanda is Dasarathi and my Pavitram is my dear Kuresha. So I will not take initiation without them. If you are going to teach me the mantra of the Narayana mantra, you should give it to them also. Goshti Purna agrees and he gives him the meaning of the Namo Narayana mantra. Okay. Now, he receives the mantra and we all know the story, of course. So he goes on to the temple tower. He receives the meaning of the mantra. He goes on to the temple tower and he calls out. Ramanuja calls out to the people. He says, who all are desirous of getting this knowledge, whoever is interested, please come to me. I am going to tell you all a secret. So he says that and he gives the meaning of the Namo Narayana mantra from the temple tower to the people who are desirous of hearing it. Hearing this news, Goshti Purna gets very agitated because Goshti Purna specifically tells them, this is a secret. It is supposed to be given from a guru to a disciple. I am desiring to give it only to you after testing you. But you have brought two people with you and you insisted that I give it to both of them. I have given it to them also. Now you go on top of the temple tower and you are calling the whole world and giving them this meaning. Why are you acting like this? So at that time Ramanuja says that, it is not that only I should, even if I am supposed to go to hell for this action of mine, it is okay. So I know that my dear Guru Goshti Purna is present here, meditating on your lotus feet, praying to the Lord to give liberation to all these people. I gave them the meaning of the mantra. This is the statement Ramanuja says. it is not enough only if I get liberated. I want the entire world to get liberated. So Ramanuja says this, and Goshti Purna was very happy, understanding the heart of Ramanuja, because he was Paradukadukhi. So he liked this quality of Ramanuja very much, and he blessed him, and he told him, you will be known as Yemberumanar. Don't worry about the name. It means the Lord who's ruling you. Okay, my Lord. It actually means my dear Lord. So he gives them this title, my dear Lord. So thereafter, Ramanuja was known by the name Yemberumanar, which means my dear Lord. Okay. Then, he had to also learn the meaning of the Sarvadharma Parityaja Charama Shloka. It's called as Charama Shloka, the art of surrender. He had to learn the art of surrender, the Charama Shloka or the Bhagavad Gita Shloka, 1866. He had to learn that from Goshti Purna. So after receiving the Narayana mantra and doing all this, Ramanuja was ready to leave. Then Goshti Purna calls him and asks him, you told me you wanted to learn the meaning of another verse, so why are you not staying back? So Ramanuja said, if you are ready to teach me, I will learn. Then Goshti Purna says, okay, I will teach you the meaning, but you should not do the same thing again. Please don't go around telling everyone. It is a secret. So Ramanuja says, okay, can I get permission only for one person? Then he says, okay, who is it? So he says, I will give this knowledge only to Kuresh. I will just teach the secret to Kuresh. So Goshti Purna says, okay, you can give the secret to Kuresh, but you should test him for 1 year. Then again Ramanuja is like, okay, I will test him for 1 year and I will give him. So Ramanuja receives the meaning of the Sarvadharma Parityaja verse, and he goes back to Sri Rangam along with his disciples. Now Kuresha keeps asking his Guru Ramanuja, please give me the meaning of the Sarvadharma Parityaja verse. Ramanuja says, see, Goshti Purna is very strict. He told me that I should test you for 1 year before giving this. Now, for 1 year, you should, there are a lot of things that he says. After 1 year, I will give you this. After a lot of testing, I will give you this, the meaning of this verse. So then, this Kuresha says, see, I'm already getting old. Kuresha was much senior to Ramanuja. And I don't even know if I'm going to live for another 1 year. Nothing is permanent in this world, right? We don't know if you're going to be alive the next minute. So how can I wait for 1 year? Please give it to me immediately. He requests. Then Kuresha has been asked to fast for 1 month instead of waiting for 1 year. It is like a substitute thing. If you fast for 1 month, it is equivalent to waiting for a year, something like that. So he fasts for 1 month and he gets the meaning of this. Immediately, Dasarathi, he goes and asks Ramanuja, oh, you taught it to Kuresha, please teach me also. Then Ramanuja says, no, I don't have permission from you. If you want to learn the meaning, you should go to Goshti Purna again and request him. So Dasarathi walks back to Goshti Puram. He asks Goshti Purna. Goshti Purna, as we know, he's not going to give it immediately. He tests him, and over a period of time, he's pleased with his service. Actually, Dasarathi goes and does some, service in the house of Goshti Purna. And then over a period of time, Goshti Purna is satisfied with him, and he tells him, you go back to Ramanuja and learn it from him. Ramanuja is only your guru, right? Go back and learn it from him. So after all this testing, he again goes back and he gets the meaning from Ramanuja. Okay. Now, so Ramanuja has learned the meaning of the Namo Narayana mantra. He's got a lot of mercy from his Guru Mahapurna already. He has learned the meaning of Srimati Ramanujaya, Narayana Sharanam Sharanam Prabhati. That verse from Mahapurna. Like that, he's already started his learning from different gurus. Now, next. Ramanuja had desired to know the inner meaning of the Ramayana. He wanted to learn the Ramayana in detail. So for that, he went to Tirumala, where his uncle Sri Shailapurna was residing. Remember, we were telling that his uncle Sri Shailapurna was doing service in Tirupati, where he was carrying water for the Abhishek of the Lord. We discussed this in the previous class. So Ramanuja went to his uncle Sri Shailapurna and learned the meanings of Ramayana. There are actually 18 secrets in the Ramayana which he learned from his uncle. And at the end of the Ramayana sessions, as a gift, he procures Govinda from his uncle, and he takes back Govinda with him to Sri Rangam. So Govinda also comes to Ramanujacharya as a gift from his uncle. Now the story of how he learns the Ramayana, what happened there, all that we will discuss mostly in the next class because it's a big subject matter. I'm just mentioning this because Sri Shailapurna is also one of the gurus of Ramanuja. From Sri Shailapurna he learns Ramayana. Next he has to learn the meaning of this works of Nammalvar, which is called as Thiruvaimozhi. Remember that first 1000 verses that we were speaking about from the beginning of the class? The meaning of those 1000 verses he had to learn. First of all, he should learn to recite those verses. Then he should know the meaning of these verses. So to recite these verses, he goes and asks Arayar. Remember, Arayar was the one who's the son of Ramanujacharya and who was an expert in reciting these verses, and he was given a boon by Lord Varadaraj, and he took Ramanuja back with him. Remember that story? So Ramanuja goes to Arayar so that he can learn these verses. He's not going to learn the meaning of the verses. He's just going to learn how to recite these verses with action. So he goes and he asks Arayar, who's in Srirangam, to teach him how to recite these verses. So now, these are some interesting stories. That's why I've come to this place. Now, Ramanuja goes and asks Arayar. Arayar says, okay, I will teach you. So Arayar begins to recite each verse, okay, each verse of these 1000 verses. It's a poetry actually, 1000 verses of poetry. So he begins to recite one by one each verse. So at one point, he's reciting one particular verse that says that Krishna, he is carrying his cowherd friend. This is a sentence, okay? So this Arayar has to show this verse in action. He's showing this verse in action in front of Ramanuja. Ramanuja is sitting in the first row looking at his guru, now guru Arayar, who's going to teach him all this. And behind Ramanuja, the other disciples of Ramanuja are sitting and watching the performance. So each verse is repeated twice. In those days, even in traditional Carnatic music and other music, every verse you see it's repeated twice. So like that, this Arayar is showing the action of the verse while reciting it. So the verse that he is here now in, he says that Krishna, he is scaring his cowherd boys. Okay. So to show the action of scaring, what Arayar does is, in our younger days, like when we were children, we often did this. We would like to scare our friends just for fun. Like we would stand behind the door and shout "bah," and then the people who enter in would get scared. And I remember so many pranks we used to play when we were kids. We would put some plastic lizard in the table of our friend and the friend would get scared. Like that. These are some, generally kids, when they're playing with each other, they like to scare each other by doing small tricks. So like that, one of the tricks, so like that, Krishna also, when, of course, everything comes from Krishna. Krishna, he's the source of everything. So if we have this tendency to play prank on our friends, even that is coming from Krishna. So Krishna used to play pranks on his cowherd friends, okay? So this Arayar is showing an action of how Krishna would play pranks on his friends. So what action he shows is, he folds his upper eyelid such that the inner flap of the upper eyelid is seen on the eyes. I don't know if you have done this in your childhood days, especially in my class, the boys used to do it. They used to fold the flap of the upper eyelid, and that redness that shows up on the eyes looks like a ghost. I mean, it looks very scary. So that is a way of scaring children. Okay? So he shows this action. Arya says that Krishna was scaring his friends. So he folds his eyelid and he shows. That is the first time Arya does this action. Second time, when he repeats the same verse, he changes the action and he says that Krishna was scaring his friends. When he comes to the point of saying scaring his friends, instead of folding the upper eyelid, he takes his two fingers to his shoulders and projects it out. Like as if from the shoulders, the Sudarshan Chakra and the Panchajanya conch are coming out. So he changed the action. He showed two fingers coming out from the shoulder, indicating the chakra and the shank. So Ramanuja was sitting in the first row and he was seeing this action. He was thinking, when Arya did it the first time, he folded his eyelids. Then he's doing the second time, why did he change the action? So immediately he looked back and he asked, is Govinda there around? He asked. That means it is only Govinda who can relish these poems so well and show such beautiful actions. Because when Krishna was in Vrindavan, he was always in the two-armed form. These kids have not seen the four-armed form holding the Shankha and Chakra, right? They have not seen it. So immediately, if Krishna wanted to scare the cowherd boys, why should he fold his eyelids? Rather, he can suddenly show these Shankha and Chakra projecting from his shoulders. And then the cowherd boys will get very scared. So this was the meditation of Govinda, and Govinda showed Arayar. When the second time when Arayar was doing the action, Govinda caught his attention and said, don't fold your eyelids, rather show two fingers projecting. And Arayar immediately caught what Govinda was saying, and he showed this action the second time. Seeing this, Ramanuja was extremely happy. So like that, different pastimes are told. I just wanted to say one. There are many more. And how Ramanuja also changes certain actions. Like for example, when there is one verse that says, the eyes of the Lord are like, like the net. Like, a fisherman throws a net and all the fishes get caught, right? So like that, sorry, please, I said it wrong. Okay. The verse written by Alvar is that I fell into the net that was spread by the Lord. Okay, this is the verse. So Arayar, he shows the throwing of a net by a fisherman and saying that I fell into it. This is the action that Arayar does. But then Ramanuja stops him and he says, no, don't do that. Say that I fell into instead of showing the net, show the eyes of the Lord, because the eyes of the Lord are like a net in which we fall. So like that, so many different varieties of realizations and corrections and all that was going on when he was learning this from his guru, who was teaching him how to recite the verses of the Alvars. Okay. Then, now he had learned to recite the verses with action. That's what Ramanuja had learned. He had not learned the inner meaning of these verses. The inner meaning of these verses, he went to one of the disciples of Ramanujacharya known as Jnanapurna. He is also called as Maladhara or Tirumalai Andan. So he went to this person to learn the meanings. Now, again, this story is very interesting. So Ramanuja would go to the house of Jnanapurna and ask him to teach the meanings as taught by Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya was an expert in all these. He knew the inner meanings of the poems of the Alvars. So, as taught by Ramanujacharya, Jnanapurna was teaching Ramanuja. Ramanuja was taking classes from Jnanapurna. So, when he was taking classes from Jnanapurna, every time Jnanapurna said something, Ramanuja would stop his guru and say, no, you should not give the meaning like this, rather it is like this. So, Ramanuja would create new meanings every day. Seeing this attitude of Ramanuja, that he was creating new meanings for every other verse, Jnanapurna got irritated. He said, in our Vaishnava Sampradayas, we don't create meanings, we don't speculate. We just say what our Guru teaches us. We don't create new meanings for everything. He got very angry with Ramanuja because this kept recurring again and again and again. Then he told, one day he asked, so today there is no Vishwamitra Srishti? Because Vishwamitra was the one who created this Trishanku Swarga, right? Like it is not there within the creation, but he created something new. So he said like that, every day you're doing Vishwamitra Srishti, you're just creating something out of your own speculation. So he scolded Ramanuja like this. So he was very angry with Ramanuja and he said, hereafter I'm not going to teach you anything because you're giving me meanings that Ramanujacharya has never told. So he says like this and he walks away. And the classes are stopped for Ramanujacharya now. Meanwhile, this news had reached Goshtipurna. Goshtipurna got this news that Jnanapurna had stopped classes for Ramanuja. So Goshtipurna came running. He came running and he said, yeah, Jnanapurna, why did you stop classes for Ramanuja? Then Jnanapurna said, what is this nonsense? He's giving his own meaning. We don't accept such things in our Sampradaya. We are not taught to speculate. We are only supposed to say what our Guru says. So at that time, Goshtipurna said, tell me the meanings that you felt were wrong. Then Jnanapurna tells him the different ways in which Ramanuja had given meanings. Then Goshtipurna says to Jnanapurna, see Jnanapurna, you didn't attend many classes. I have heard the same meanings from Ramanujacharya. Ramanuja has not created anything new. These meanings were also given by Ramanujacharya. And I am a witness to it. I know for sure that I have heard these meanings from my Guru Ramanujacharya. So the meanings that Ramanujacharya is telling now is not at all wrong. Always remember, Ramanuja doesn't need a guru. He's just taking the role of a disciple. He already knows everything. When he tells this to Jnanapurna, he repents for what he does, and he goes and he asks Ramanuja, I'm so fortunate to have the service of teaching is something that you already know. I'm so surprised how you already know so many meanings that I missed, which Yamunacharya had taught in the past. So like that, his lessons with Jnanapurna are also over. Then, okay. So in Srirangam, Ramanuja, after he got all these lessons from almost 5 acharyas. Now Ramanuja has 5 acharyas. All these 5 acharyas are actually disciples of Yamunacharya, and they were instructed in the past by Yamunacharya to give knowledge to Ramanujacharya. That's why these 5 gurus are now giving knowledge to Ramanujacharya. So now we are complete with the different gurus of Ramanuja, how he got different lessons from these different gurus. Okay. Now next, in Srirangam, Ramanujacharya, he began executing all his work, keeping Srirangam as his headquarters. So one day, Ramanujacharya, being a sannyasi, he went for madhukari. Right, in those days, sannyasis, they wouldn't really cook for themselves and eat. All that they would do, they would go from door to door for madhukari. So, during that time, there was one person by the name Uttama, Uttamanandi. He got very envious of Ramanujacharya. He felt, oh, this Ramanujacharya, he's becoming a big man, he's having so many disciples, everyone is going, Ramanuja, everybody just wants Ramanuja. He got envious. So, he mixed poison in the food that was going to be given as madhukari to Ramanuja. So, imagine the level of envy he had. This was the second, life threat to Ramanuja. Already he faced one with Yadava Prakash. Now he's facing one with Uttamanandi. So, this Uttama, what he did is, he went to the kitchen and mixed some poison in the food, and his wife saw it. Okay, wife was a very wonderful person, but she saw what her husband was doing, and she was shocked. She asked her husband, "What are you doing?" And the husband said, "Just listen to what I say. Go serve this food to Ramanuja." The wife was very, very scared, because in her heart of hearts, she didn't want to serve poison food to Ramanuja. At the same time, she was very scared of her husband. So she takes the food and she goes. Ramanuja standing at the doorstep of Madhukari. She puts that food in the bowl of Ramanuja. Once she gives him food, poison mixed food that she's giving, she fell down at the feet of Ramanuja, circumambulated him, and went inside. So it was like as if she is conveying a message. It is said that when you give diksha for a sannyasi, you're not supposed to pay dandavat and do a circumambulation of this person. So this action of this woman got Ramanuja thinking. He thought, I cannot accept this prasad because she has circumambulated me saying dandavat. According to Shastra, a sannyasi should not accept such prasad. So he thought, oh, maybe today it's the Lord's wish that I should not eat. He goes and he throws this into the river Kaveri. There, some fish eat this rice and they fall dead. So immediately Ramanuja understands the intention of that lady, that she was trying to protect Ramanuja. And Ramanuja, he thinks for himself. He thinks, actually, I'm not a good Vaishnava. Because of my actions, someone has got offended to such a great extent that they are ready to kill me. That means my actions are lacking Vaishnava qualities. That's why this has instigated a person to actually develop envy. Thinking like that, he feels very bad and he fasts for 3 days. Okay, Ramanuja is repenting and he's fasting for 3 days. This news that Ramanuja is fasting spread like wildfire. Oh, our great Ramanuja, he's fasting. Everybody, and someone tried to kill him. This became the gossip of the town. Everybody knew this thing. And the message went far and wide that it reached Trikoshtiyur, where Goshtipurna was staying. Goshtipurna got to know about this news and he came running to Srirangam. Now here is the scene. It was the 3rd day of the fasting of Ramanuja. Ramanuja heard that his guru, Goshtipurna, is coming to see him. So Ramanuja, hearing this news, he immediately gets up and he runs
in the banks of the Kaveri river. It is the summer month, and all of you know, especially in Chennai, Trichy, Srirangam, it's boiling hot. You just cannot even step out of the house. So he was walking barefooted on the sands of the shore of the Kaveri to receive his guru. Okay, and Goshti Purna was coming from the other side to come and see Ramanuja. From a distance, Ramanuja sees Goshti Purna, and immediately, the minute he gets the darshan of his guru, again he falls down flat. He pays Dandavat, he gets up. Pays Dandavat, he gets up. Like that, he goes all the way till the lotus feet of his guru. Now, when he sees his guru, again he falls down flat and pays Dandavat. It's hot summer, hot sand, and Ramanuja is saying Dandavat. Usually, the culture is that when you pay Dandavat, the elder should say, enough, get up. Till then, you should be paying Dandavat. It's not that we just pay Dandavat and we get up immediately. The person to whom you are paying Dandavat should say, please get up, then you should get up. This is what they used to follow, at least in those days. So Ramanuja was paying Dandavat, and Goshti Purna was simply standing. He didn't say, get up, Ramanuja. Because he was standing and standing and standing. Ramanuja is saying Dandavat, he's saying Dandavat, he's saying Dandavat. No, he's not telling Ramanuja to get up. Hot summer, Ramanuja's body was totally burnt by the hot sand. It had become fully red, and all these boils and all that. And he was just paying Dandavat, lying there, waiting for Goshti Purna to lift him up. Seeing this, around Ramanuja, many of Ramanuja's disciples were accompanying him, okay, to see Goshti Purna. All the disciples started getting very scared. What is this? It is so hot. Our Guru's body is being burned. And Goshti Purna is simply standing there like a rock, not lifting up Ramanuja. So at that time, one particular disciple by the name Vadugan, this is not Vadugan only, I think this is Kidambi Achan, yeah. There's one particular disciple by the name Kidambi, just remember Kidambi. He was actually much younger to Ramanuja, almost 40 years younger actually. Very young boy. He saw this, and he was an initiated disciple of Ramanuja. He saw this, he saw Goshti Purna, and he got so angry with Goshti Purna. He told Goshti Purna, what is this? Ramanuja has fallen and his body is being burnt, and you're not even lifting up. Enough of all this respect that you're giving, my dear Guru Ramanuja. Please get up. So he lifts up the body of Ramanuja with great love. Seeing this action that Kidambi did, Goshti Purna was very happy. He said, hereafter, this boy Kidambi Achan will be your personal cook. Hereafter, O Ramanuja, you should eat only what is being cooked by Kidambi. You should not accept food from anywhere else. He is the only disciple who has so much concern about your bodily welfare. He will take care of you very well. So it was a test again. Goshti Purna was doing this test to see who is the best disciple who can take care of Ramanuja, who can cook for Ramanuja, and he found this boy. So Kidambi Achan was given his actual name was Prana Tartihara. This was his name, but he is often known as Kidambi. Okay, that is the name that he carries. Even now, certain family names in South you will hear Kidambi. It's a last name for many people in South India. Anyway, so this Kidambi was actually the cook of Sripad Ramanujacharya. And once, in Srirangam, always only Vaishnavas used to come and go. So all the Vaishnavas used to be fed. So there was a big place where all the Vaishnavas would come and sit, and food was being served. Annadan would happen. And Ramanujacharya would supervise these activities, and the cook for all the Vaishnavas would be Kidambi Achan. He would go to the kitchen and he would prepare a big feast for all the Vaishnavas. All the Vaishnavas will gather, they will have prasad. All of them will honor prasad together. So this was the culture that was being followed. Now one day Kidambi Achan had cooked, and all the Vaishnavas were honoring prasad. Ramanujacharya was standing in a distance with his tridanda. He was just looking, and he was supervising everything. Now, while they were eating, usually in those days, they would not keep water cups while eating. Okay, in those days, it was a practice that they wouldn't keep water cups. If someone was thirsty while eating, one person would be standing with a jug of water. They had to call that person, and that person would pour water into the mouth of that person who's thirsty. This was the practice. Okay, so everyone was eating out of the banana leaf, and suddenly that day, one person felt thirsty while eating. So he called for Kidambi. Kidambi was holding this jug. So he called for Kidambi, and he asked him to come, saying that he's thirsty and he wanted water. So this Vaishnava opened his mouth, and Kidambi was pouring the water into the mouth of this person. But when he was pouring, he was very careless. He was very tired. He had cooked for so many people. Again, he was standing in the hot sun holding this big jug of water. So he was very, very exhausted. He was just very carelessly, he was pouring water into this Vaishnava's mouth. And this Vaishnava was stretching his body to reach out to the water. Seeing this, Ramanuja got extremely angry. He went running. He gave one tight slap at the back of Kidambi and he said, "No, what are you doing?" He shouted at Kidambi in front of everyone. He is a Sri Vaishnava. He's come here to honor Prasad and you're giving him inconvenience. Go and stand exactly near him and pour water correctly into his mouth. This is not how you treat a Vaishnava. When you do Vaishnava Seva, you should be very conscious of how you perform the Seva. You just cannot do Seva the way you like. You should not cause any inconvenience to him. He's stretching his neck to reach out to this water. What do you think you're doing? So he scolds Kidambi. Kidambi, actually, he's like taken aback. He's like totally shocked. He lays the water jug there and he goes to a corner and he begins to cry. Now seeing him crying, some envious people, they go and say, "See, I told you, this Ramanuja, I think you all have given him too much, importance, but actually he's not worth all this importance. This is how he behaves." Then Kidambi actually said, "No, I'm not crying for that. I'm just crying to consider my good fortune. How fortunate I am to have such a great guru who doesn't hesitate to correct me. He corrected me at the right time. Who is more fortunate? I got the beatings of my guru. I'm the most fortunate person today." So these are tears of joy. I'm not crying because there is no way that my guru can offend me. There is absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, he has corrected me and he brought me to the right path and taught me how to be the servant. So I'm so fortunate. He says that and he cries. So we have, I think, 9:30, right? I mean, it's time. 1.5 hours is up. Okay. Shall I say one more story? Is it okay?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, one more story and then we'll close. Okay. So, this is a tough story. It requires some attention. So, I'll just quickly say only this. In this place, once there was a person by the name Yagnamurti. Yagnamurti was a scholar from Kanchipuram. Remember in our previous class also we were talking that Kanchipuram was a great seat of learning in South. So there was a person by the name Yagnamurti who was visiting from Kanchipuram and he was a great scholar and he invited Ramanujacharya for a debate in Srirangam. He heard that Ramanujacharya is the sannyasi here and he's the head. He went and approached Ramanujacharya and invited him for a debate. So at that time, the debate was such that it would be an 18 days of debating. 18 days, Yagnamurti and Ramanujacharya would debate with each other. So the first 16 days, both Ramanuja and Yagnamurti, who was a Mayavadi, both of them were debating and they were equal on their points. That is, Ramanuja gave equally heavy points and Yagnamurti also gave equal points. So both of them were equal. But on the 17th day, it appeared that Yagnamurti got his points stronger and stronger. So at that time, Ramanuja got scared. Imagine, Yatiraja, he got scared because he felt that he was unable to defeat Yagnamurti. And because of him, all the glories of the previous Vaishnava Acharyas will be put to shame because he won't be able to defeat Yagnamurti. So he was thinking to himself, if a Mayavadi wins, that means it will be proved that the Lord is without any attributes. The Lord's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, all that will be, proof that it's not there if a Mayavadi wins. What will happen to all the Vaishnava Pramanas and Shastra? What will happen to the works of my previous Acharyas? Like that, Ramanuja started getting very scared. He went to his worshipable deity, which he always carried with him, his Aradhana Vigraha, which he always kept with himself. He went and cried to the deity, saying, "Please help me somehow. Please help me defeat this person." So at that night, Lord Varadaraj, who is from Kanchipuram, he appeared in the dream of Ramanuja and told him, "Don't worry, Ramanuja. You are arguing with a person who's qualified and he will become your disciple in the future. But don't worry, you will win this argument. Have you forgotten the work of Ramanujacharya called as Siddhitrayam? Go and read Siddhitrayam and from that you will get the points to win the argument tomorrow. All glories unto you," he says, and the dream is over. So the next day Ramanuja wakes up and he goes and he reads Siddhitrayam, which is a work of Ramanujacharya, and he gets the points for his debate. So The next day, Ramanuja, he enters the debating area. He goes there, and the minute he enters, he has a beautiful, satisfied heart and a nice smile on his face. Seeing the contentment on his face, Yagnamurti understood that Ramanuja is fully ready and Ramanuja is going to defeat me. So it appears that he got some mercy from the Lord. So this is the conclusion that Yagnamurti got as soon as he saw the face of Ramanujacharya. So immediately he thought it would be wise to go and surrender to Ramanuja instead of losing to him. So he goes and he surrenders to Ramanuja and says that it appears that you have found something great today and there is no difference between the Lord and you. Ramanuja is again upset. He thinks, oh my God, all these days the argument was trying to tell him that you are different from the Lord. And now again he's saying it appears that you and the Lord are the same. Now also he's speaking only Advaita. He's saying I'm surrendering to you and he's still speaking Advaita. Then Ramanuja said, again and again you're saying the same thing. There is no difference between Ishvara and Jiva, but there is a difference. Please listen to me, my argument. Then Ramanuja completes the argument. He says this. You say based on some statements in the Shruti that the Lord has no attributes. So that is your argument. Based on certain statements in the Upanishads, in the Shruti Shastra, you are trying to prove that the Lord doesn't have any attributes. Brahman is one, everything is, this world is Maya. That is what the Mayavadi is trying to say. But at the same time, in Shastra, there are many statements that say that the Lord has many qualities. And the Lord is full of many qualities. It is described that the Lord's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, everything is described in Shastra. So I am arguing based on these points. So when you argue based on the points that the Lord doesn't have any attributes, you're saying that there is a Saguna Brahman and there is a Nirguna Brahman. I think you must have all heard these Mayavadi points because Prabhupada is an expert in defeating Mayavadis. So many of us, since we have read Prabhupada's books, we should be knowing some basics of these things. So there's an argument when the Mayavadis speak, they say that whenever Brahman is described as having qualities, it is Saguna Brahman. Whenever he is described as not having such qualities, he is called as Nirguna Brahman. But this Saguna Brahman is a lower variety of Brahman. Nirguna Brahman is Shuddha Brahman. This is their argument. They say when this Nirguna Brahman without attributes, or Shuddha Brahman, is covered by ignorance, he thinks himself to be many. And that's why we see Saguna Brahman, the form of the deity, everything is Saguna Brahman, but it is not permanent. This is what the Mayavadis say. When Brahman is covered by avidya or ignorance, he assumes himself to be many, but actually he is one. This is the statement of the Mayavadis. So, Ramanuja says, so you are saying Nirguna Brahman or Shuddha Brahman, when he is covered by ignorance, then it thinks itself to be many. That means, who is going to come and remove that ignorance? Because only Brahman is the absolute truth. According to Mayavad, there is only one reality, which is Brahman. So if you are saying avidya is covering Brahman, who is the one who can remove this avidya that is covering the Brahman? Just like a sun is covered by the cloud. Who is going to remove that cloud? He asks. So, okay, now there is no one superior to Brahman, so nobody can remove the avidya. So that means you are meaning to say that the avidya is a permanent feature. If avidya is a permanent feature or ignorance is a permanent feature, then there are two realities. There is a Brahman and there is an avidya. That means there are two realities. So your philosophy is defeated by itself. According to your philosophy, there is only one reality, which is Brahman. Now, this ignorance that is covering Brahman cannot be removed because there is no one greater than Brahman. That means avidya becomes a permanent feature. So your philosophy itself becomes Dvaita. That means there are two realities. So your philosophy is self-defeating. So this is how Ramanuja argues with him and tells him, this is how I defeat you. And this is given by Yamunacharya. This explanation is given by Yamunacharya. And this person, he surrenders, he accepts his defeat. He also surrenders to Ramanuja. Ramanuja initiates him. He gets a Tridanda. He becomes a Tridanda sannyasi. And he gets a Dasanama. That is, he gets a name with a Dasa suffix. And Ramanuja, he initiates him into the worship of his own deity. Ramanuja used to carry a deity of Krishna. Krishna's feeling better. That was his worshipable deity, Ramanuja's worshipable deity. So Ramanuja entrusts this Yajnamurti with the worship of his worshipable deity. And this person becomes a Tribanga Sannyasi, and he also writes many scriptures like Jnanasaram, Prameyasaram and other granthas. So we'll stop here, because if I continue, I think it's going to go for a much longer time. So we'll stop here. If you have any questions or realizations or comments, please go ahead. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preethi Mataji. I was waiting to see if anybody else would go. I seem to always be the one jumping up first. So,
That's nice.
I was thinking of a couple of things as you were speaking. Today was a little bit overwhelming, so I didn't completely keep on track. I'll probably have to listen to the lecture again. But the thing I was thinking of was, well, starting from the end, I'll start. One thing that, even Ramanujacharya, who is such an advanced person, first of all, he was scared, but he wasn't scared that he was going to lose. It wasn't a personal fear. It was scared that he was going to let everybody down.
Yeah.
And, and so that was that one thing. And I think that, is a lesson for us that we, and what did he do when he was scared? There's only one thing to do, right? Ask the Lord. So there's a lesson right there. I was thinking that we have a responsibility to understand and really understand, not just to be a devotee or a follower or a Vaishnava by name, but actually understand the philosophy. And I know Srila Prabhupada actually wanted us to read his books and really understand, and to increase our, what is that bird? Increase our faith by studying and being able to win arguments if necessary. That was the one thing I was thinking of. And the other point the other thought that came to my mind was, oh my God, that bird is distracting me. The other thought I had in my mind was that, when that person was trying to kill Ramanujacharya, and he, how a devotee takes everything as, how they say, you should not, be angry with or condemn or be whatever, blame the person who has whatever, made you suffer in a sense, made you go through, because they're just an instrument, right? And I was thinking, he did not take it as, he's trying to kill me. It's something that I did. He took it as it was not, I can't even explain it right. But he wasn't taking it as something that oh my God, he's trying to beat me, he's trying to kill me, and this and that. He just took it as, okay, I need to. This was obviously for some kind of a purification. I mean, Ramanujacharya, he needed purification. I mean, that's kind of like shocking that, but that's how he took it. It just shows that mentality of how, no matter how, great they are or how advanced they really are, they think they're not, they think they are, nothing in a sense, or they think that, they still have more to develop and more to change and more to advance. Even after going 18 times and removing all those things, right? He still had some cleansing to do. So, I mean, what to speak of us? So we have to be very, 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 very careful in making sure that we continue that. So those are a couple of thoughts that came to my mind. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Beautiful, Mataji. I always wait to listen to your realizations. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much for this class, Mataji, and for taking so much effort to enlighten us on this subject. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much, Nikna Mataji, for always being there.
Yeah, and I just want to thank Praneshwari Mataji. I was also waiting for Praneshwari. Because Mataji's realizations and questions are always very nice. I was just waiting for her to intervene. But Mataji, thank you very much. We could visualize, and in between you asked, can I go for one more story? And I thought, oh, Mataji.
Actually, I have, for today's class, I have 4 more stories left, but I'll do it next time. That's okay. Because I'm sure, like everyone has a breaking point, you just cannot concentrate after a point in time. So,
yeah, that's Mataji. Yeah, maybe in 2 classes if it's not possible.
Yeah, if it overflows, let's see. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji, so nice. So nice to hear how Ramanujacharya approaches Goshti Purna so many times and so many times he rejects. So nice, Mataji. And then how Lord tells him to serve Kanchi Purna, right? He tells Kanchi Purna to serve Vaishnavas, then only he can take liberation.
Yeah. Very true, Mataji. Very true.
So many nice points and so many nice stories. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I just don't have words. Many times I got goosebumps when I was hearing tears and very, very beautiful, presentation of Ramanujacharya. There's no words to thank you for this. Just that, even if it is 6 months, you can take weekly once and elaborate on one story and we can keep hearing this. I feel it's important because when we go out and distribute books and when we talk to people and when we do Bhakti Vriksha, we are so much efforts by so much acharyas like Ramanujacharya to bring this philosophy back up, personal sacrifice and their qualities, and with so much difficulty now these books and this philosophy is so easily practicable in our hand. We just have to put a little effort to bring others also, the same fortune to others also. So this deepens our commitment to the devotional activities, chanting, reading, everything else. So I really thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lalitani Mataji. You made such a heavy, very, very important point. Yes, we have got it so easily actually. They just set everything for us, all our acharyas. So, it is our, like you said, we should also take some effort in giving this knowledge to everyone else. So nice, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. I was especially reflecting, the whole class was around so much effort to get the meaning of one verse, meaning of work, right? Up and down walking and so much sacrifice and everything to get the meaning of one verse, which is so easily now available in language which has no culture and no depth like English.
Exactly.
It is there, very easily available and also very, very inexpensive, printed like anything and then for nothing.
And such easily available Prabhupada commentaries, and for us it's so easily available, right? Yeah.
Thank you so much, because these insights and these sacrifices by great acharyas makes us be serious in our devotional service. So
yes, Mataji, very true.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. You can go ahead, Mataji.
Pranam. Glory to Shri Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for this very, very beautiful class. And everyone has added that you are really a storehouse of stories, Mataji. So I really appreciated how much you have to study, how much in depth you have to go just to explain us. That's really so wonderful, and I really agree with Lalitangi Mataji, what she said, that we should be really indebted to Srila Prabhupada, like how easily everything is available to us, and still we are taking everything for granted, not taking time out reading CC, not taking time out reading Srimad Bhagavatam, which is so readily available, and everything is in a condensed form available in these scriptures.
Yeah, easily understandable language. We can sit in the comfort of our home. Oh my God,
So
we have such a big gift. Yeah.
Thank you so much, and really appreciate your patience, your hard work, your efforts, your endeavor. Thank you so much. And Mataji, yes, as everybody said, yes, you can take more classes instead of extending, because you know, I cannot, literally my conditioned mind cannot concentrate more than an hour. I really can't.
Yes.
But since it was stories, so, so I was able to relish. So Mataji, I have few questions.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji, you can ask, please.
Yeah, the first question that came is that so Shri Vaishnavas, or the lineage of Ramanujacharya, are still following the Dvaitavad philosophy, or no?
Yeah, they follow the same. They follow the same Vishishtadvaita philosophy. Yeah, that was given by Ramanuja. Yeah.
There is some disturbance. Let me mute.
Yeah. I'll just mute. Yeah, go ahead. Yes, Mataji. Yes, Kirtida Mataji. They still follow the same philosophy, Mataji.
But not like our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy? No.
It is very similar. It's very similar. Vishishtadvaita and Achintya Veda are not very different. Very minor philosophical differences. But that is okay. I mean, I have an article that elaborates the difference. I can probably forward it to you. But basic practices are very similar, Mataji. And of course, as we all know, the worshipable deity is a little different.
Okay, but they have worship of more in the form of awe and reverence, right?
Yes,
because
yes,
they
definitely.
worship more on a platform of Lakshmi Narayan.
Yes, definitely, yes.
Okay. And another question that came to my mind is that when you were asking about, when you were telling about the story, when he says that you have to bring Tridanda and Pavitram. So what is the significance of, what insight mood Ramanujacharya had when he said that he is Tridandam and he is Pavitram?
Oh, the inside mood Ramanuja had is like Kuresha was inseparable from him. Like how the Tridanda is inseparable from a sannyasi, similarly Kuresha is inseparable from him. He will be with him all the time. That is the thing. And similarly Pavitra, again, it is used in all the purification process or all the ritualistic processes. So similarly, Dasarathi was very dear to him. Even before he became a disciple, even as a nephew, Dasarathi was very dear to him. So these both are inseparable from me. I cannot give them up for anything, is what Ramanuja was trying to say. It's almost like his right hand and left hand, Kuresha and Dasarathi.
Okay. And even the Shri Sampradaya have this Tridanda Sannyas, because I know about Vaishnava Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, they follow this Tridanda. So even the Shri Vaishnavites also have?
Yes, Mataji. All the Vaishnava Sampradayas will have Tridanda only.
Oh, okay.
Only the Brahmavadis, that is our Advaitavadis, they will have Ekadanda Sannyasi. That means everything is Brahman. Everything is one, Only those people will have Ekadandis. The rest of the Vaishnava Sampradayas will have only Tridanda Sannyas.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kirtida Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Danavad Pranam. This is Devangi from Houston. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for this beautiful lecture. Many things I didn't know. Actually, most of the things I didn't know. So thank you very much. I'll have to to remember those names, I'll have to go through this link again and rehear it. But I would love to hear this lecture again. It was such a nice lecture.
Thank you so much, Devangi Mataji. And also Guru Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj's, many of his lectures cover most of these stories, if not all, at least many of these stories are covered. So you can, even if you pick up those, you can hear many of these stories again. So just letting you know.
Yeah, I'll have to go through those links and I have to read, I was listening from one of my friends. They are from Sri Sampradaya. So they were like, I don't know the stories, but they were just saying that, Ramanujacharya, like the way they worship is like the way we worship Krishna. So, but I was like, there should be something, but I didn't know all these stories why they worship Ramanujacharya. But thank you very much for enlightening us with this beautiful stories. I had one question, Mataji, about Brahmin and Kshudra. Like you said, this Kanchipurna, who was Shudra, but he used to, Ramanujacharya would, go to him and ask him things, and he asked him for initiation also, right? And so that made me think like my other Sri Sampradaya friend who are like strong Brahmanas, and they don't even, very, very strict, they don't even eat at someone's house. And recently only one of our friend, she's Advaiti, Brahmin only, but Rudra Sampradaya. So she refused to go there because, and she made some reason that she told me that, they are Advaiti, we should not go, and we don't know how clean they are, how their mind is. And she told me one story of Ramanujacharya where one Advaiti, he was Advaiti, and he tried to kill Ramanujacharya. I don't know, if you know, you might know the story, but I don't know, she told me this story. She said when Advaiti, Ramanujacharya was giving massage to this head massage to, and he said something about our Lord Vishnu, and Ramanujacharya felt bad, and then they tried to kill Ramanujacharya, and that's why she told me that that's the reason. See how Advaiti treated Ramanujacharya and these Shudra people and all. She explained me like that's why we should not eat in their house. But with so much love, she's also like interested in coming to Bhakti Vriksha, coming to ISKCON. She wanted to know more from me about ISKCON. She's new, but it's not that she's strong-headed that I'm Advaiti, I'm following my Sampradaya only. But still, this Mataji didn't go to have, and she didn't let me go also for lunch, and we made some reason. So when you told me this story about Kanchipurna, it made me think that, it was like Ramanujacharya didn't do such differentiation, right, in Brahmins and Kshudras.
Yes, Mataji, that's right. Ramanujacharya never saw differences by birth. That is very true, because the Sampradaya itself, as I was mentioning, Nammalvar himself is not a Brahmana. And there are many alvars in the Sri Sampradaya, where the Sri Sampradaya has been revolving around the teachings of the alvars, and many of them were not Brahmins. That is the first thing. Now, of course, there is no need to see differences. The reason sometimes certain Sri Vaishnavas, they avoid prasad in the house of certain non-Brahmanas is because of their eating habits, like if they are cooking meat, or if they are not eating food that is not offered, or mixing onion and garlic, same principles like how we follow in our Sampradaya. Similarly, many Sri Vaishnavas will not accept food from the house of people who are not following the Brahminical culture, and if they don't have the right understanding, if they are not Vaishnavas, that is one thing. Now, talking about Advaitis are Mayavadis.
Right?
Yeah. So that is the actual reason. Of course, now in today's world, many people, they don't even understand the essence of what they are doing, and they just do it blindly or ritualistically. I'm not talking about them, but actual Brahmanas who are very particular about Vaishnava culture and who are very particular about these kind of food habits, they will not accept prasad from other people's home, which is they expect a lot of standards, like you should not be eating meat or cooking meat, like that. There are many rules. So that is one reason. Second thing that you were mentioning, there is a difference between Advaitis are actually Mayavadis. Okay, so they have nothing to do with Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. They are different set of people. Advaiti, in the sense, Advaitis are Mayavadis. So even in Prabhupada's commentaries in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada says that it is not good to accept prasad from a Mayavadi or an Advaita person, a person who's strong in the monastic philosophy. Why? because our consciousness gets affected. So that's why, okay? So there are two different things. A Mayavadi necessarily need not be a Shudra. He can even be a Brahmana. There are Brahmins also in the Mayavadis, right? Like you have Brahmin Mayavadis also. So a Vaishnava is recommended not to accept prasad from Mayavadis because it affects their consciousness. In that sense, yes, Vaishnavas do not accept food from Mayavadis. Another thing, they do not accept food from non-Brahmins because of their cooking standards. But if the same non-Brahmin by birth is a Vaishnava by heart and practice, okay? Like for example, Kanchipurna, he was a Vaishnava by heart and practice. So Ramanuja wanted to take his remnants. So similarly, we all should be yearning to take remnants of a Vaishnava irrespective of his birth or caste. If he is following the correct Vaishnava dharma. That's all, Mataji. So that is the reason that Mataji, I don't know if that Mataji had these understanding and she did it. Sometimes people do it without understanding, but it is always good to understand what the exact reason is, right? So the exact reason is two things. You don't accept food from meat eaters. You don't accept food from people who are very strong in Mayavad philosophy. That's all, Mataji. Is that okay?
Yes, Mataji, thank you very much for clearing my doubts. Yeah, but it was just like she was my question because I was like, she's also Brahmin. They are, they worship Lord Shiva, but they are also vegetarian, worshipping, Brahmins. And she's also interested in, she is new, like, though we are Vaishnava, born in Vaishnava family, we do not follow everything. But there are people who doesn't like know about that sampradaya. They are just open about everything. So she's like that. She wanted to learn about Lord Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu and all that. She was asking me, and then we were new, so she invited, like, can you come for lunch tomorrow? And then this thing came up, so I was like, why? Because she's also doing everything. I would also not go and, eat at someone's house who they cook non-veg and all that. But in this case, it was not there, so that made me think. But you cleared both the doubts anyway. Thank you very much.
No problem, Mataji. But nowadays, most people, we just do it without the right understanding as a ritual, which is not very recommended. If we have the right understanding and if we ourselves are so strict, then it makes sense to follow. That's all. Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much for bringing it up. Thank you, Mataji. Thanks for coming on the call and giving us your association. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else has anything to add or comment? Okay, it's 2 hours up. Okay, I'll end the class. Thank you all so much for your patience and for your kind listening. Thanks for your association. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnav vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Srila Ramanujacharya ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Preethi Vilasini Mataji ki jai. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji.
Ananta koti vaishnav.
Thank you, Mataji.